tonight's shave, I'm going to step back from the open comb plates of the Karve Christopher Bradley and into the old original solid bar. And this is the A plate that I got. I think I started out with the C, and then eventually I started branching out because I really liked the shaves I was getting, and then I hit the A, and for a long time that was my favorite. I shaved with yesterday the A open comb, so today it's the closed comb. The blade I'm going to put in it, same blade as yesterday, the Gillette Silver Blue that's been used twice. So let's get that guy out. Treating him carefully. I'll set him on my cap of my soap tub there. Should have just left this guy apart and put my blade in it. Shave was so good yesterday. The blade feel was crisp. But it wasn't aggressive feeling at all. I was feeling that blade slide across my skin, but it just cut so well that it was just a really nice sensation. So let's see what the solid bar does. And something I'm excited about today is this knot. I've had it soaking for a little bit. This is maybe its third or fourth use, not by me though, I bought it used. It is a knot from Elite Razors. Their knots are expensive, but I got this one used. I'm really happy about that. And so we've got some bristles coming out, and that's totally okay because it's a new knot and it feels terrific. When I was doing this, when it was unsoaked, it was very rigid and I was concerned, but I know that they change after they get a little bit wet, and I like the way it feels now. It's bloomed out. This is the Manchurian 26 millimeter. It is their fan shape. I usually like the bulb shape a little bit better, but sometimes when you buy stuff used, you don't get to pick and choose. So I'm going to put this back in the water, let him be soaking. I have a similar knot called the Manchurian from That Darn Rob, and I like the handle, great ergonomics here, nice coloring, and this knot is terrific as well. It's got that fan shape. Now with this one likes to be soaked for 10, 15, 20 minutes before a shave. The tips are noticeably different. If I only soak it the normal 3 minutes or so that I do for a badger, which is almost every other badger I have is what I do, then the tips aren't as soft as they're going to be on that first pass. I discovered this one time because on the third pass, I was like, this brush feels totally different on the third pass than it does the first. Apparently it just likes that soaking. And so maybe these tips are just that way. I don't know if Manchurians are that way. So I went ahead and was soaking that guy a little bit longer. What else are we going to use? Another thing I am excited about is the soap. I'm continuing with some Stirling because there were some posts online about people who are having trouble with Stirling, and I just want to make sure I get some good videos out there of Stirling. I think I used a boar yesterday, can't remember exactly, with some Stirling, and today we're going to use that badger. And this is Stirling 1, and they're kind of duplicating the fragrance, or the cologne, The One. And there were notes in here on the top, bergamot, basil, and I usually don't like too much basil, but I was in terms of smelling the dry puck, I don't pick it up too much, so it must be just a supporting element. So that's cool. Neroli was in the mid-range, ginger as well, and then in the base there was amber, cedar, and something that I'm not remembering. There are about 3 or 4 on each level, if you will. So I'm not mentioning all of them, but to me, I can definitely smell some of those orange-related scents. But and I think I smell the ginger a little bit, but only if I'm looking for it. It's blended so nicely that I don't think I could pick out very many of these notes at all. I got this as a refill puck, and so I put it in a container that I had on hand. All right, so let me get my face a little wet. "24 hours growth, roughly." And I do have hard water that I'm working with, and it is cool. Cool as in slightly cold. The bowl we're going to use is my usual one lately from Roger Quintero. The link is in the description if you want to copy those files down. And this is the extra large version of that bowl if you have a 3D printer or access to one. The brush is soaking. Now, I believe with Stirling I've done 40-second loads. I think I'm going to try like a 50-second load today and see how that does. This is a smaller container than the Stirling ones. The 6-ounce containers that Stirling has are wider, and so they give you a lot of room to load up. All right, so as usual, I'm going to shake most, and this is a big old Badger brush, and so there's a lot of water in there. I'm going to shake a lot of it out. As you can see, most of it's gone now. All right, so 20 seconds just rolled around, and so since I'm going to go to 50, I'll go to 10 seconds after. So we will see what we get. So this brush, the handle here is from CravingShaving. So I had this knot. I bought it several months ago, I think, and I just never had a handle to put it in. I like the less expensive handles, but a lot of them are 24 millimeter, and this is a 26 millimeter knot. And so I stumbled upon a handle on CravingShaving. I think they have an Etsy page, I believe. And almost time up, 5 more seconds. And I found this. I believe it had a synthetic knot. And look, I got a lot of water out, and so there really wasn't much overflowing in terms of the soap. So this is what you can expect to see if you use kind of just a damp brush technique where there's not a lot of water in the brush. I've had plenty of examples where I've had a little bit more airy lather overflow. Not a problem. Don't use that airy lather. Usually you've got a lot of whipping to do to get that back into shape. But I bet I've got plenty of lather right here. It's a nice scent. I really like it. Kind of in their men's cologne category. And we will start up. So I found this handle. One thing about it, recently I got this great handle from actually the same company, CravingShaving, and this one was super ergonomic. As you can see, it's a lot taller. There's more to grab here, and I really enjoyed using this one. This one uses more the end of the fingers, and so it'll be interesting to see how it is different with ergonomics and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of water. I know that I'm going to use, who knows, maybe even 3 teaspoons. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon right now. As you can see, I've got a dirty shirt on today. Well, that is to honor the work ethic. We planted our garden today. Just basic stuff. Container gardening is what we're doing right now. Tomatoes, green peppers. Jalapenos always do well in this region, but we don't really cook too much with them. But the bell peppers do well. We like that. Last year we tried smaller pots just on the patio, and that was a lot easier to work with. But the yield just wasn't anywhere near what we had the previous year in the larger containers. And so we are back to the container, and so hopefully we'll have lots of good tomatoes for salsa and burgers, things like that. So this lather's coming together nicely. I'll be interested to see how many extra passes this much extra loading will give me. Surely it'll be longer than, it'll give me more passes than just the 3 the standard 3. So now we've got 3 teaspoons. I'm being a little aggressive because I'm watching this soap and it's kind of waiting to come together a little bit. So now that I've put 3 in there, I'm really going to work it and give it time to lather up here. Since you see I'm not able to pull the knot, the handle up into my palm, and so that means you're using more finger muscles to control it, but you'll get used to, I would imagine. Another grip that you can do with this guy that I think I'll probably be doing when I'm putting it on my face and applying it is fingertip over this, and then these two can be behind in this valley. Let's try that for a little bit. It is a little slippery when the soap gets on it because it's a resin handle. A lot of them are that way. Matter of fact, I'm going to rinse it off just a little bit. Make it able to use then the friction of the handle to hold it instead of muscles. Lather looks good. Looks like I'm going to have, plenty of it. It's not super voluminous. I'm having trouble remembering that word. I think it's voluminous. Alright, but it looks nice. It looks just a little too thick, so I'm going to keep adding. Now I'm going to slow down and just add about half a teaspoon at a time. If you are in a hurry, don't have time to watch me mix lather, I understand. Use the speed control on YouTube playback videos. Hover over the video and you'll see a little gear icon on the bottom right. And there is a way to then change the speed from 1x, which is live speed, to 2x or 1.5x. Now 1.5 might be your best bet if you're in a hurry because many times you'll still be able to understand the words, but you'll save half as much time with the video. So that's a nice looking lather here. There's a big knot. Let's just kind of take a little sample. I can barely feel the ridges in my fingerprints. So I think I'm going to keep adding a little bit more water. Stirling is a really slick soap. So wow, we've got 4 teaspoons in it. I'm going to go ahead and refill again the syringe in case I need to add more. I'm guessing I will have to add at least another half teaspoon. I loaded for longer than I usually do with the 50 seconds. I may find that, at least with this brush, I may find that is too much soap. Or at least I'll have extra passes that I don't use. So if I end up with a lot of, oh no, you know what? I'm so used to my, I've been shaving with a Nacet. And currently that Nacet's at about 150 uses. Exactly 150 uses. I stopped just a few days ago, and I started to I've had to buff with it, go over the same areas, and so you need good slick soaps to do that. But then one day I switched and I said, let's not buff even if I have to make another pass, and that's what happened. I had to do 4 passes. But it's kind of nice because if you like the soap, if you like the comfort of your brush, the way it feels, then those extra passes are nice. Now we've got tons of lather here. See what happens. Oh, nice. Look at that. Let's try shaving with this and see what happens. This one may actually still be a little dry, a little in need of water, but it sure looks nice. It sure is. Look how elastic it is. Those are some traits to look for if you don't feel like having a syringe to measure your water. Pull it up like that. Watch how now does the bottom part, does that collapse on itself? How readily does it do that? You can then pull it all up like this, like I did a minute ago. Give it a little shake. How does it stretch before it disconnects? How much shaking does it take to do that? Those are some attributes to help you hone in on the viscosity that you like to have your lather. All right. Rinse my face. All right. I have not used a knot from Elite razors yet, so this is my first. Now, with new badgers, you don't need to judge them right away. They can take a couple of weeks to kind of get softer. I have had some from, I think it was Frank's Shaving, kind of prickly at first. But after a few weeks of uses, they smoothed out really nice to become excellent. This feels a little on the too dry side. So let us got a lot of backbone. It's being a little hesitant, a little reticent to splay. It's somewhat comfortable. The tips are being pretty nice, but the backbone may be a little much for me. But like I said, you need to give it a little while before you see how it's going to act. It could loosen up nicely. But the scrubbing that I'm doing is nice because it's doing a couple of things. Number one, it's putting the lather on my skin, and if you're of the mindset where you want to make sure that your skin is hydrated really well, the hairs, your beard are hydrated really well so that you believe they're going to be cut more easily with the blade, then this kind of action is nice because it's longer exposure to the lather before you start cutting. Yeah, that lather was nice and elastic, but as you can see, it did need some more water. The scent is kind of on the weak side. Sometimes it's nice for colognes. We'll see how I feel about this particular one. It's definitely there when I have my nose in it. Kind of hard to detect. Maybe 3 to 4 out of 10. Maybe a pretty solid 3 out of 10. Just very, very lightly available. Although this is Stirling, and so I know the performance is going to be there, but the scent strength of this one is a bit on the low side. All right, now here we go. I think about the feel yesterday. And let's see how this solid bar is different. A lot less blade feel. I can tell it's cutting nicely. But I just don't have as much blade feel. As I did yesterday. But the thing is, I felt the blade, but it felt great. It was almost like the blade was in the hands of a really well-trained professional. And so while I did feel the blade, it didn't feel aggressive at all. And so in a way, it was a nice feeling instead of just not being able to feel anything. All right, we'll just let that be the first pass. All right, so I'm getting ready for the second pass here. I added another teaspoon of water to the lather. Let's take a look at the attributes of it. Look at that big glob. Not very many. Nice sheen to it. Not very much in terms of peaks and valleys. Oh, look at that. A lot less viscous than before. Got a lot more stretch and elasticity. Stirling is just such a good performer. All right. Don't need to scrub quite as much on the second pass since I've already done the cleaning on the first one. So we can just kind of leave it at that. Cross grain now. You know, with this A closed comb plate, it's just so smooth. And so if you're looking for not really feeling the cut and just a nice smooth shave, then I think this is where your money should be spent. And I've also used this head to chop down a 3-day growth. And so it's no slouch in that regard either. Now for me, this is the kind of razor that I need to be able to go almost against the grain in the trouble spots of my neck. This one is just so smooth and mild that it doesn't aggravate my neck like almost all other razors do. The 40s style Super Speed is a similar geometry, or at least it feels that way to this one, because that's another one that I can almost go against the grain on my neck with. All right, let's rinse this. All right, so now we'll start that third pass. Probably have to do a fourth pass. Maybe I won't though. You know, I expected the A open comb to maybe resemble the aggression of maybe the C plate, or maybe a step or two above the A closed comb. But it just seems like it's just different. So yeah, this is still lightly scented. Kind of difficult to pick up while you're shaving with it. I think it's nice though. Wish it were a little bit higher, a little bit stronger. Just sliding over my face with such ease. After this pass here, I'll pause you and take a look at the results and see if I want to do another pass. But the rinsing here, this soap is just crazy slick and luxurious, and so it's a wonderful feeling to take care of all the rinsing and get that soap off. You just kind of do a half rinse where I leave a little bit on my face. Now I have loaded for 50 seconds for this shave, and I have lots of lather. I just finished 3 passes, and I'm gonna guess I've got enough lather in here for 3 more passes. Okay, so it looks like that 50 seconds was not needed. at least for this brush. And that's the point I want to make. This has a lot of tips. It's a dense brush, lots of bristles. And as my face is telling me, it's got a little bit of backbone to it. I'd say medium to maybe a notch above that. Now I hope that settles down as I put some more uses into this brush. But your brush, if it matches this one, then our load times are probably going to be a pretty close match. But if it has half as many bristles, if it is softer, then that's going to affect things. If you got half as many bristles, you may have to, that 50 seconds may only yield you 4 passes instead of 6, which for me is about perfect. Okay, so there you go. It does have a little bit more backbone than I might normally want, but I'm going to keep using it and just see how it changes. Another thing that I could do is raise the knot up a little bit so there's more length above the handle. Put a plastic washer in there, re-glue everything. It'll give more splay to the knot, and that may be what I want. Just a terrific lather here. Cheeks are probably done about as good as they're going to get. Probably taken up against the grain, note right there without any problem. Just keep a relaxed grip on my razor, not trying to press down on my skin. Just pressing enough to keep the razor on my skin as I'm moving around. Also, I know my lather is not too thick, it's not too dry, because it is being rinsed nicely and easily. From the razor, it's clearing out of the razor without very much water force. It's another way to tell. Now maybe you like it that way. Maybe you like a really dry lather. I mean, maybe that works for you. It sure doesn't for me. But it is a subjective thing, and if it gets you great shaves, then do it. All right, well, I think we are in great shape. While my face is still moist, I'm going to throw on some post-shave balm. This is Executive Man. I think it's probably going to work well with the one. It won't interfere too much. I have a large soap collection, but my balms and aftershaves is kind of small, and so I just kind of pick one that's close enough. There we go. All right. So I do have a little bit of irritation. I think it was feeling so smooth that I got a little too against the grain happy in a couple of the areas on my neck there. However, I am pretty sure it's going to not even feel like anything in about 8 minutes, So we are feeling good. I've still got, like I said, 2 or 3 passes of lather left. I did 4 passes. So with this brush, I definitely can probably get away with just 30 seconds of loading, perhaps. So that'll be interesting. Maybe tomorrow I'll use a boar brush with a similar soap and see how things work out with that. This is a big old 26 millimeter Badger. Now, some people use 30 millimeters, and so they might not say this was big, but for me, this is about as big as I'm going to go. So, tons of lather left over. Let me just rinse this brush out just a little bit, sling it out a little bit. And so this is just how the knot looks, and sure we've got some soap still on it. We will we'll just keep using this guy and see how he progresses. Very nice. I'll keep rinsing him after I pause you. So the balm smells really nice. The cream, the soap, is so lightly scented that it's not really going to conflict with anything, I don't believe. And the blade was terrific. Still worked really well in this closed comb plate with the Chris Bradley razor. All right, very good. I'm just going to clean up. Little question out there for you. One of my favorite things to grow in our herb garden is cilantro. I love to throw it on so many things. But around here in North Carolina, it seems like the cilantro just doesn't really last. It doesn't really keep. So if you know a good way to keep it around, keep it from kind of, I don't know, just kind of dying, then I'd love to hear from you. Thanks. So in terms of water used for the 50-second load of soap, I believe we're looking at kind of 3 refills of this. And so it's 5.5 teaspoons of water. And so that is a lot. And I did, if you recall, spray a little bit onto the brush. And so I could probably have gotten away with a full 6 teaspoons for this particular load. And remember, that's dependent on the brush. This formulation might be pretty accurate if you have water like mine. Stirling does well in hard water, but if you have really soft water, then it might be even more lather is generated. But the brush matters a lot. If yours has fewer bristles, that 50 seconds of loading may not pick up as much soap, and so therefore it's not going to make as much lather, and so that 50 seconds may be just perfect for a smaller brush. Might try to remember to use a smaller bore tomorrow. Try the 50 seconds and see how much lather I end up with. Well, that was such a smooth shave. Almost too smooth. The open comb gives you blade feel, but it's controlled blade feel, and it almost feels more manly, more like you're getting a shave. So you can pick which way you'd like to go. I haven't decided exactly where I'm going to land on that one, but I really enjoyed the open comb. So we'll just see. We'll just see what I end up choosing after a while. Sometimes when you're in the early stages and you're learning them, you don't know where you're going to land. But it was excellent. I really enjoy it. Super smooth, and I think it could be a great shaver for a lot of people. Because it's just not going to treat your skin wrong, in my opinion at least. All right, so I think we're good. This Manchurian does have a little bit more backbone than I might prefer, so hopefully, like I've been saying, it'll calm down a little bit after a while. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but the good news is our community probably has a good many people who have used the Elite Manchurians, and so I could probably get some opinions on that online. If you have used that before, I'd love to hear your comments about will it relax a little bit after a while, or will it pretty much keep that same backbone that it has from the beginning? All right, well, this Executive Man smells great. I keep thinking to maybe comment to you about how the one is just, it may be light, but it's available to me and I'm enjoying it after the shave, but I'm realizing that that's the Executive Man Balm instead of the soap. So that's a great one. I'm glad about it. I'm definitely going to repurchase that balm when it runs out. Very nice. So happy with my shave today. Farming day, if you will. We'll see how the herbs come in, and we'll look forward to some good produce and tomatoes, and I think we accidentally planted some banana peppers this year, so that'll be interesting to try those guys out. All right now, well, you take care. I hope this shave, all the stuff we showed here, hope there's something here for you that helps you out. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care. Good night.